You can look at some of the greatest bull riders that there's ever been, and they don't have the track record at a world final situation quite like Robson Palermo.
Palermo lands on his feet, and they are on their feet in the Thomas and Mack Center.
If I got to pick a guy, if you forced me and pushed me in the corner right now and said, pick a guy.
Give me a player. A man who has spent a career being banged up.
It gets bigger. Dr. Tanny Freeman just informed me that he is also dealing with a dislocated kneecap.
Surprised by that stat. Palermo proving you don't need knees to ride the bull, but you do need them to walk away.
Feels like a trap.
My name is Robson Palermo. I'm from Brazil. I live here in Texas for 17 years now. I rode professional bull ride in PBR for 14 years. Well, to everything start, I did in Brazil when I was lived there with my family. My daddy, he's a cowboy, working the farm. And when I was 14 years old, my mama, she gave me a DVR that time with some professional bull ride, and I started watching, and I started learning those moves and the way you have to put the rope and the way you sit on the top. And since that day, I started getting a little bit more professional, you know, like my moving, my style, and I ended up like going to the rodeo when I was 15, and I won my first rodeo. And since that day, I said, well, I'll be bull riding, and I let it go for everything, school and all that. And I rode a bunch of horses in Brazil, like a bareback and mule stuff, get on the mule to learn how, you know, the moving, how the kicking and all that stuff. And this way I learned more with the animal stuff, and more like people asking me how you did that. I say, well, I learned with the animal, you know.
So my name is Priscila Palermo, and I grew up in São Paulo State, like in the big city, in São Paulo City, where like it's 10 million people, but I had my great-grandfather had a house in the country, and we would go in there every weekend just to ride horse, just to do trail ride and all that. And then I started loving horses more and more, and eventually I started doing barrel racing. So I started when I was 11 years old, and I never stopped until I came in here to the US. So basically like my high school years and my college years, I went to school in Brazil as well. I was just rodeoing all the time.
Pois, walking bulls. Priscilla used to be a barrel racer in Brazil, and I was met her there on those rodeo, and I see her on the magazine because she won bred to the big rodeo in Brazil, and she ended up being on the magazine. And I told my mom when I left there, and I never met her there.
Before, yeah.
And I told my mom, I say, I'm gonna marry this girl here. And my mama laughed because I was, you know, that time I was so skinny, ugly guy. Still ugly, but not.
So I start looking at him and start paying attention at him at rodeos, and then I told my mom I'm gonna date him. And my mom, she was just laughing because said, "Oh, he's such a different background. He's a country boy. You are a city girl." And I just laughed as well. But then, like as time went by, it had one event that I went to buy a soda, and he came, and then he started talking to me, and he said like, "Oh, congratulations on how well you did." And I told him congratulations as well, and that is how we started talking to each other. And like we started dating, And I think we dated for 4 months, and then we already got engaged, and then we already came here to the U.S. So everything kind of went fast after we started dating, but it still has a history behind it, everything that lasted a while. And it's funny because I also, like in 2004, 2005, he was on the magazine, and they were telling his history, like how he started and everything. And I kind of like it, how he went through it, because he came from a very remote state in Brazil, and then he went to São Paulo state to try a better life and to try better events and all that, and he went through a lot of challenges.
Folks, it's not too early to start making some noise for those Blue Death bullfighters.
Palermo going up against Lucky Strike and J-Dub. He took some pounding.
Golly. That's one of the biggest wrecks I've seen in a long time, and I can smile about it now because I watch him get up here in a moment. But golly, that guy right there is tough.
He's built for tough. That's how tough he is.
Finally points out the clock. And after all that prep, he ends up being 79 100ths short. And a man who has spent a career being banged up looks like now has another injury to deal with, and sports medicine out immediately.
You know, the Robson Palermo that rides at his best, if that bull there even dreamed that he bucked him off, he should wake up and apologize. And see how he come down on his head. And
injury or not is a little bit more important than a ride score. And the backboard, the precautionary measure, Dr. Tandy Freeman there with his full staff, you know they've stabilized the head and neck, and Robson's safety is the paramount priority at the moment.
So on the first year that Robson comes in here in 2006, his main goal was to qualify to the finals, and he made it. They would qualify the top 40. He was able to make it as the 36, I think it was his place, but we made it. And we are all excited. We go to Las Vegas and the big lights, it's showtime. He's riding good until Saturday night. He had, and it wasn't really a wreck, it's just the way that he bucketed off and how he hit his back. He locked it up in the arena. And it was, nowadays we know that it was his first herniate of disc. And we didn't think it's a bad deal. Well, it's a back pain, it's gonna be fine. And so we go to the room. He cannot get up the bed without my assistant. He cannot do anything because he's in so much pain. And we didn't know that on the event that we wanted to qualify so bad, he would have one injury that would affect him the rest of his life, because it didn't only affect his career, but also it's affecting his horse riding, and it is a pain that he has every day. So with this injury on his back, on his lower back, he had pain throughout the entire career. And even nowadays, every day he wakes up with back pain, he goes to sleep with back pain. It's something that never really was solved. We did a lot of chiropractor that helped so much. We did injections to take the pain away. He took some medicine whenever he was riding. So we did everything that we could but surgery.
And 2006, the wreck I have, he's not bothered me much because down my first one and I was so young, and I was come back here to Texas. I started working, started rehabbing, I have guys working on me, and about 3 months I was back to bull ride again. In 2011, where I hurt again, I have my shoulder surgery, I think 2 times.
Yes.
And this one is the one that kicked me a little bit. When you have a family, that time I started have a kid, and Gabby is the first one, Mateus and Lucas. and I was around all the time. And on you the road, you don't care much about, like you don't think about the kid and family much, because if you think, you start get a little bit soft and you're not going hard a lot
On the bull riding.
on the bull ride. But when I was 2012, I stayed in the house a lot, and I've been with the kid so much, and I think I started getting a little bit more soft, and it started getting more like every time I hurt, I didn't want to go no more to the bull ride that week. I want to stay home. I want to stay with my family, and the kid started growing. He started asking questions about this and that. Why you hurt? Why this? And it's kind of hard to go back there and do, especially get on bull and a big animal and come back and hurt. And this, me and my wife Priscilla talk about, and later on, I see that is not my word no more. That is, I think it get done, and I went up like
In 2018 that you retired.
yeah, in 2018, I'll say, well, I'm not gonna retire. I don't want to ride bull no more. I can. My health problem, my shoulder, my back, and my neck, he's kind of bothered me a lot. And I say, well, now I'm gonna raise family, and I have 3 kids. My daughter, she involved in rodeo. My middle boy, he's involved in soccer. And my little one, he's a little everything. He's a cowboy, he's a baseball, he's a soccer, he's a what kind of stuff it is. In 2018, when I retire, I start breaking horse, and the breaking horse, he's come for a long time in Brazil. I was right horse, right mule, and all this stuff. And when I moved here, I watched the RFD TV that time.
Yeah, it's a great camera.
I started to see those guys training horse, and I say, I'm gonna do this stuff. And I started learning how training horse, because I never trained one. And what I did, I live in College Station at that time, and I didn't have a place to go, and I just watched TV and English. I didn't speak English at that time. And I watch what the guys move and do with the horse, and I go over there in round pen, and I did. And the horse, he kind of learned it would teach him. I say, well, this is good. I'm gonna teach a horse. And later on, I end up like a breaking horse, and the people start to bring me a horse for a break. And my kid is really helping me here on the ranch. Like a Gabby, special Gabby. She's the old one, and she learned rope, and she learned barrel, she learned breakaway, and she really dedication on that. I breaking horse and training horse for outside people. I have a couple of good horses coming here, and Gabby, she started riding horse for me when I need to, and she's the one kind of help me saddle, unsaddle, and brush the horse, get the horse, and bring to me, and my wife too. And went up and do this stuff, and the kid, he started involved, and I think it's very good for him learning the hard life and the ranch he have, and respect animal stuff too.
For us, our dream, it was to have a buckle, and then we started realizing that if you, with the health of the possibility of having a son that it would be disabled, you start seeing that who cares about the buckles and everything. How is this child gonna live? And then we start seeing life in another way. And so I think I was 3 months pregnant. So for the next 6-7 months, everything question, is the baby gonna be healthy? And then we kind of forget about the surgery. We kind of forget about that and say there is so much more in life. So then we start connecting points. And of course, we couldn't see that back then. It took us a few years to go back and see what God was putting on us, because for so many years, everything was around the PBR. And then he can't ride anymore, but then he still wants to ride. So God is kind of, it's enough, your body can handle. And he's like, I can do it, I'm so strong, I can do it. And the faith for us, it's something that has been with us since we started dating. And it is interesting, Robson always had a bigger faith than I had it. I guess being a city girl, from a country boy, country people, they are much more God-fearing people than the city people. And he always had so much faith. And I started observing that, and I always admired it a lot. And with him riding bulls, a lot of times
and kind of cut a little bit what she say with that, like when you start getting professional and when you start getting hit the top line, and I went up here, come over, and I make so much money, and I never been like that. I never make this kind of money. When you start go make this stuff, like you been go city to city, different town, different hotel, and different car, the fame stuff, and you only be on the TV, and the people only go to some place and people realize you and sign autograph and this and that. Your head is gonna be boom. I'm the Superman. I'm the best.
I don't need God.
If sometimes you forget about God, you on that time you mess, and God is gonna help you. You're gonna be down, and that way you see, shoot, I should not forget my God. This should forget, because when you're there and you just thinking about one money this, one money there, and money come from somewhere, come from some sponsor, this and that, and you never say put God in the middle, and that way is a bad. And for us, I think every morning come over here and I'll thank God for that thing.